It's enormous. It's huge, dude. Gotta be one of the biggest cars they still make.
Yeah, it's not very many.
No. It's hard. Yeah, I think my truck days are almost about over.
There's never any doubt. Come on.
13 miles a gallon back and forth to
We will say nothing. Oh, by the way, Adam had surgery today.
And it went well.
Good. Yes. I forgot we were on. So much.
No, I didn't. That's what Jake said. He'll give me what I paid for it. So. And then some, maybe. But the put on. Yeah, so maybe I need to do that just to see. But Jake's looking for like a Camry or something for me too, and they're same price as new for a 2-year lease. It's nuts. Yeah.
Maybe sold it outright, right finance one.
And he's got a couple. I just figured Jake could probably give me the best on that. Of course, anyway, now.
What do you got in there, Joe?
Yeah, no kidding. Pass it around.
I was just doing my best.
Yeah, here.
I gotta take notes.
They're on. Oh, sorry.
It's my cup.
It's just water. It's just water.
No, I didn't even take a drink. I was just doing my cup and all of a sudden I was like, golly.
Can't chew gum and do the board meeting at the same time. Oops. Hate when that happens.
I have a plan, you know, that if you don't have a lot of skills, home skills, at least your wife doesn't think you do, then your list isn't long.
Screw a few things up and you can get a shorter list,
It
right?
takes one bad,
I should try that.
one bad cut, something like that. You're not doing that again.
Okay. Makes sense.
That wouldn't work.
I think I'm just smart enough to know that I can't do that.
We're a little worried about it. I did, and I even put the mouse someplace where I knew it that day. I just walked right out without it.
I got 7. Let's roll 6.
Call to order the FY22 amended budget hearing. Please join in the pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Robin?
Yes.
Brad?
Yes.
Jill? Yes. Jane? Yes. Chad?
Yes.
Yes, Jeff? Yes.
Steve? Okay. We shared the FY22 tentative amended budget at the May meeting, and it was publicly posted for 30 days. There have been no changes to the tentatively amended budget from May. A hearing is being held to allow for comments on the FY22 amended budget.
So as Mrs. Klosterman said, there's been no changes to the presented tentative amended budget from May. The numbers are still in line with where we believe we will end up. And so we would stay with those numbers. Just to recap, we were looking at increases in revenue and expenses in the ed fund, which balance out, take our estimated fund balance from $10,399,518 to $10,505,425. It's an increase of $105,907. In Fund 20, the job operations and maintenance, we would have both increases and decreases, or expenses and revenue both. And we're looking at an increase in that fund of $260,000. And then in Fund 50, the Municipal Retirement Social Security Fund, we were looking at a decrease of $100,000 in the previous approved budget back in the fall. So,
Are there any comments or questions for Mr. Fox? If not, I will entertain a motion and a second to approve the FY22 amended budget as presented.
Motion. Second.
Second.
Motion by Brad, second by Steve. Roll call.
Brad,
Yes.
Jill,
Yes.
Jane, yes, Chad,
Yes.
Jessica,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Ron.
Yes. I will now entertain a motion and a second to adjourn the budget hearing.
Motion.
Motion by Chad,
Second.
second by Jill. Roll call.
Jill,
Yes.
Jane, yes, Chad,
Yes.
Jessica,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Robin,
Yes.
Brad.
Yes.
Motion carried. Now I will call to order the regular board meeting. Roll call.
Jane, yes, Chad,
Yes.
Jessica,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Robin,
Yes.
Brad,
Yes.
Jill.
Yes.
All right, do we have any visitors that would like to address the board? Okay, seeing none. Financial report, Mr. Fox?
thank you. We ended May with a net fund balance of $24,622,411.84. And the operating funds made up $22,150,260.34. In the ed fund, we received revenue locally in the amount of $261,654.66. From state, we received $579,377.89. And federally, we received $182,078.28. Expenses over $5,000 are broke out separately within your report. And our recommendations this month would be to reimburse the interest account in the amount of $1,620.48, and payment of bills in the amount of $1,380,986.89.
Okay, are there any questions or comments about the financial report? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion and a second to approve the financial report to reimburse the interest account in the amount of $1,620.48 and the payment of bills in the amount of $1,380,986.89.
Motion.
Motion by Chad.
Second.
Second by Steve. Roll call.
Chad,
Yes.
Jessica,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Robin,
Yes.
Brad,
Yes.
Jill,
Yes.
Jane, yes.
All right, next is the consent agenda. This month on the consent agenda, we have minutes enclosed from the May 23rd regular meeting, cafeteria report, end of the year, plus their comparison from last year and this year. We have fundraisers enclosed, central PTO, trash bag sales to raise funds for student incentives, classroom projects, library books, etc. September 16th to September 30th. We have Southside PTO selling pizzas and desserts from TJ's Pizza to raise funds for PTO to support student and teacher needs through the school year. We have ELC, a used book sale to assist families in building an at-home library for students in October. ELC Art to Remember sales purchase materials for classroom, add additional playground equipment, finance special events. That's February through April. And at ELC, the ELC School Spirit t-shirts and sweatshirts to provide resources for holiday parties, special activities, and holiday gifts, August through October. We also had enclosed the annual library services report, which I thought was interesting to read. We saw that the libraries, particularly noted at the high school, the junior high, were well used and attended. The first year we were back, there were a lot of restrictions of students going to the libraries, but this past year, those were lifted and the libraries had many students use them. I noticed at the junior high, they had a new program called, I think, Sit and Stay, which is something that I was really excited about because the library at the junior high didn't used to have the room, I don't think, before the renovation for students to really do that. So that was very exciting. And of course, looking forward to next year when we have a district librarian, Mrs. Flack, in place. So looking forward to great things in the library system. We also have a transportation request. This was for 7th and 8th grade volleyball to participate in tournaments July 8th in Rochester and July 22nd in Springfield. Are there any questions or discussion about any of the items in the consent agenda? If not, I'll entertain a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda.
Make a motion.
Motion by Jill,
Second.
second by Brad. Roll call.
Desha,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Robin,
Yes.
Brad,
Yes.
Jill,
Yes.
Jane, yes, Chad.
Yes.
Motion carries. Next, we have correspondence. We have several notes, excuse me, several notes this time. Your kind expression of sympathy is gratefully acknowledged and deeply appreciated from the family of Lyda Greenwood. We have a thank you. Thank you so much for the retirement recognition at the board meeting as well as at the Unit 40 picnic. I also appreciate the beautiful flowers, the employee pass, and the brick paver. It's hard to believe that my retirement is here. I have many fond memories of my time at Unit 40. Amy Nieberge. Thank you so much for the luncheon, lifetime pass, brick, and beautiful potted flower. I'm forever thankful for my time at Unit 40. Thanks, Carla. I'm sure that's Reed. Thank you so much to all. Thank you for the retirement celebration at the staff picnic. Thank you for the beautiful flowers and great brick and delicious meal. I have been so blessed to be part of the Unit 40 family for 35 years. Thanks so much, Carol Holster. And finally, thank you for the retirement recognition at the end of the year picnic. Also for the flowers, lifetime pass, and brick paver. I am so thankful for my 18 years with Unit 40. It is a great place to work. Penny Weedman. That was all the correspondence for the week. Next, we have the superintendent's report.
Okay, really, there's not anything to report on Foundation or FOIAs. I just wanted to take this opportunity instead of just writing a thank you note. I want to thank this Board of Education and our district and the previous board members who found it and took a chance 11 years ago to hire me and allow me to come work for the best school district in Southern Illinois. We've been through a lot and we've done a lot in the last few years, but our staff and our teachers and our administrators are top notch. And I think you as board members know that, and I appreciate the opportunity to work with some of you just a couple of years and some a little longer. But it's been an honor and a privilege, and it'll take a little bit of adjustment. But as I told Mr. Johnson, I'll be over on the west side of the district, just keeping my mouth quiet, and just if you need something, just give me a call. So, but we love Effingham. We love the Effingham Unit 40, and we'll continue to support it moving forward. So just want to say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have celebrated with Mr. Doan his retirement in many different ways in May, primarily with a public open house. And then the board had a very nice dinner with Mr. Doan and his wife. And of course, the teachers and staff had a big celebration at the end of the year and honored all of the retirees, including Mr. Doan. But publicly, I know the board really has appreciated your insight and experience and knowledge, especially these last few years, which was really uncharted territory, and to lead us through that unscathed. We really appreciate what you've done, and hope that you have a glorious retirement.
That's the plan.
All right. Next, we have old business.
Are there any questions on the amended budget? I know I don't know why I put in there,
Twice.
yeah, but we do actually in open session here
Okay.
need to have another motion in
Another
a second.
motion.
I apologize for
That's
that.
okay. Okay. Then I will entertain a motion and a second to adopt the FY22 amended budget as presented.
Motion.
Motion by Joe,
Second.
second by Steve. Roll call.
Steve,
Yes.
Robin,
Yes.
Brad,
Yes.
Jill,
Yes.
Jane, yes, Jack,
Yes.
Desha.
Yes.
Motion carries. Next, new business, property casualty insurance renewal.
Okay. Property casualty insurance, every year, we see a slight increase like we always do in insurance. This year we saw a little bit more than our normal 3%, because both situations outside of the district's control, but both happened where our insurance had equal cost. The driver who drove through Southside's playground and destroyed all that was not driving his own vehicle and did not have insurance. So of course, our insurance company had to eat all $86,000 worth of that issue. Likewise, when the 3 juveniles jumped the fence behind the junior high and went in and vandalized 3 buses, which were over $20,000 in damage to the 3 buses, they did not have insurance. Our insurance company had to eat that. Unfortunately, 2 major claims, both outside of our control, but both had to go against our renewals. So that's why when you look at our renewals, the biggest increases in property. When you looked at the different line items within that renewal cost. So we're looking at the property went up, workers' compensation went up about $9,000 from last year. We had a mod increase from 0.82 to 0.94. 0.94 is still really good, but it went up because we had a few more claims in workers' comp than what we'd had the previous year. So all in all, we are looking at going from $427,922 to $474,438. That's an increase of $46,516 for our property casualty insurance. Now, with workers' compensation, if we have a good year with it, they will sometimes, we have had multiple years where they've actually sent us money back because we got a refund on that. So that's happened in my 5 years here, 3 different times we've gotten money back. So hopefully we have another good year where we can get some return back. So
I think just a couple additional points. I didn't know this, but I think we've had 2 earthquakes in Southern Illinois in the past 6 months or 5 months. So earthquake insurance went up. You can see that a little bit. And then what else was I going to mention? Oh, we are looking into the cyber liability. It takes
multi-factor authentication.
Thank you. So that's taking IT some change on how we do things. So trying to figure out how to do that to make sure we can do that in a smooth manner. But I would assume that's going to come here pretty quick in the next month or 2.
So we don't currently have that right now.
Not-
So we have a form of it, but we don't have what we feel would be sufficient cyber liability insurance. But nobody will quote it unless you have MFA in place. And so we are currently working through the issues of it, putting MFA in a school district. So,
And on the renewal, I forgot to look, but was it a market renewal where they put it out to bid against other insurance companies, or was it just a renewal with our current?
So it's a renewal with our current, I'm glad you brought that up. So my first year in this position, Mr. Doe and I sat down with Bush's, who's kind of our broker for our insurance, and looked at whether we should bid it out. However, we've had about $30 million in projects we've done in the last 5 years. And Bush's highly recommended we not bid it out because we are not a very good candidate for companies when we have those kind of projects going on due to the liability that comes with projects.
Sure.
So
Makes sense.
hopefully in the next year or 2, we can slow down projects and You'll have everything where we need it to be, and then we can look at that bidding process. So.
Anything else? All right, if not, I will entertain a motion and a second to approve the FY23 property casualty and workman's compensation insurance renewals from Affiliated Insurance and Zenith at a total cost of $474,438 for the 2022-23 school year.
Make that motion.
Motion by Brad,
Second.
second by Chad. Roll call.
Robin,
Yes.
Brad,
Yes.
Jill,
Yes.
Jane, yes, Chad,
Yes.
Tricia,
Yes.
Steve.
Yes.
Motion carries. Next, we have the 22-23 health insurance.
Okay. So we had a meeting about a month ago with both the support staff union and the certified union, as well as representatives from Weiss Insurance were there. And we went through a lot of information. A lot of that's in your detailed summary that you've received. We went over the self-insured renewal rate that we are looking at. We went over if we were fully insured through Blue Cross Blue Shield. We were fully insured through Blue Cross Blue Shield. We'd be looking at a 15.1% increase in premiums for next year. That would mean that Blue Cross Blue Shield would hold all of the liability that comes with those claims. Being self-insured, the district holds a portion in the middle between, there's two different numbers. We hold that portion of liability. If it goes above that, then the insurance company takes it back up. So we are looking at right now a 7.65% increase in premiums. We are still working on Blue Cross Blue Shield on some of the administrative costs, but we are hoping that we will get some of those dropped, which has happened almost every year. If that does happen, then we will go back and readjust premium rates to bring those down even lower. But this is the number that was shared with both unions. They understand where we're at. We talked about the possibility of bidding out health insurance as well. But everybody agreed in the room, again, we are not a good candidate for rebid. We were about 500,000 overestimated claims this year over what Blue Cross Blue Shield, everybody thought we would be for this year. Now that comes down to COVID and the fact that all these people put off procedures, they put off exams, they put off surgeries, elective things, and then they've had it done in the last 6-8 months. And so our claims this year were skyrocketed over where we expected them to be for the year. So for this year, we were not a good candidate for bidding this out. We did that a couple of years ago, and that was a good process. We didn't feel like that would be a good process this year. So the 7.65% is where we are at today. We do hope that will be down before we do sign-ups in late August for September 1.
Just a point, the 5-year average, I think we've had it 6 years, maybe 5 or 6 years, is 1.65% on premium. So the average increase each year is 1.65%. And over 5 years, that's really good. So hopefully we can continue that. I know that the committee looked at this and are looking at other options as well as they move forward. So then you have the idea of we're with Blue Cross Blue Shield, and our staff have a very good network. And so if it's always talked about is if you do bid it out, that could change. And people are going through that with Springfield Clinic too. But anyway, that's looked at every year. And so the committee recommended
that we stay with Blue Shield and the 7.65%. That's right now, with the hope that we'll get some answer back on administrative costs soon.
Okay, any other questions or comments for Mr. Fox? Okay, seeing none, I'll entertain a motion and a second to approve renewal of Blue Cross Blue Shield health insurance and set the premium rates for 22-23 as presented.
Can I ask one more question? Sorry. Just thought is the prescription card separate from the health plan? Do we have Blue Cross Blue Shield for your prescription card as well as health?
Yes, we didn't change any of our prescriptions or co-pays or anything.
ask Bushu whether it'd be worth separating out the prescription card, because that may make a difference there on the renewal, sorry.
Okay. So now the motion would stay the same. Motion and second to approve renewal of Blue Cross Blue Shield health insurance and set the premium rates for 22-23 as presented. Motion by Steve,
I'll second it.
second by Jane. Roll call.
Brad,
Yes.
Jill,
Yes.
Jane, yes, Chad,
Yes.
Jessica,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Robin.
Yes. Next, we have dairy and bakery bids.
So this year, Ryan Elsasser did the bids for dairy and bakery. Dairy, there was only one bidder. Prairie Farms out of Albany, which is always our one bidder. And so the recommendation would be to stay with Prairie Farms out of Albany for the dairy bid. For the bakery products, we did receive two this year, Bimbo Bakeries and Alpha Bakeries. I think we got two because Ryan went out and asked about 15 people to please bid on it. And he tried out a lot of different products and made sure, and out of those 15 people, he got two. But Alpha Bakery did come in considerably cheaper on their pricing than what Bimbo Bakeries had been. And so we would recommend that we go with Alpha Bakery for the 22-23 school year.
Okay, any questions about that from Mr. Fox? If not, I'll entertain a motion and a second to accept the dairy bid from Prairie Farms Dairy and the bakery bid from Alpha Bakery for the 22-23 school year.
Motion.
Motion
Second.
by Chad,
Second.
second,
By Steve.
okay, second by Steve.
Thanks, Steve.
Roll call.
Jill,
Yes.
Jane, yes, Chad,
Yes.
Jessica,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Robin,
Yes.
Brad.
Yes.
Okay, next we have paper purchase.
Okay, this one's tough for me. So we buy our paper, 480 cases, I think, or 840 cases, I had that back, 840 cases at a time, which is a full semi-load. Last year when we bought our paper, we paid $22,000 for that semi-load. This year, the price is up to $35,000. So we're looking at a 60% increase in the cost of paper for whatever reason. So we went out and sought bids for paper, just like we have every year. And what we got was Office Depot for $35,070, Staples for $35,271, and Contract Paper Group for $37,800. So we would ask to approve the purchase of one truckload of paper from Office Depot for $35,070. We would try to hold off and see what happens, but we are out of paper. We will need that. With delivery times, we need to make sure we have it on hand. So.
Okay, any questions about the paper purchase? All right, I'll entertain a motion in a second to approve the paper purchase from Office Depot in the amount of $35,070. Motion by Desha. I'll second that. Roll call.
Jane, yes, Chad,
Yes.
Jessica,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Robin,
Yes.
Brad.
Yes.
Yes.
Motion carries. Project updates.
Almost got it.
Not quite.
All right. Okay, so where do you want to start? So South Side is going well. They've lowered the ceilings in several classrooms. They've got ductwork above the ceilings. They're not doing the penetrations through the outside walls because there's heating pipes that run between the wall and where the ductwork is, so they're not going to penetrate those outside walls till next summer now. Because those heating pipes run down to the registers, we need to have those for the rest of this coming year. And then they'll remove those. So they've got a lot of that work done, completed. Grunlow Construction's done a good job of getting that done. Right now, they're trying to decide if they are going to come in August and work 3:30 to 9:30 at night, to put the new roof on because they should have the roofing material in August. Otherwise, they'll wait till next summer. So south side's going well. ELC carpet is in paint is going well. They've knocked out over half of that building already. And that's the maintenance team doing that work. That's not an outside contractor. That's our maintenance team doing that work. Painting of the junior high is going well, the patching and painting. Kirk's has gotten a great deal of the concrete patch, and Todd is right behind them and painting. He actually skipped a section because they couldn't do that because of the tournament going on, Jeff Schaefer's basketball tournament. So he actually skipped the north end and is now around on the west side painting that. So if you go over and look at the back, you'll see the back is painted with the top gray.
Yeah.
He's not done the red stripe yet or the dark gray on the bottom. Those will be the last things he does so they don't get messed up with the rest of the construction going on. And then the asphalt project at the junior high, they've got it completely tore up. They think in another week they'll be done back there with that project. So that's going well. Let's see what else. Central asphalt, that's one that we need to talk about. When they got out to Central, and originally we were going to try to mill the top 2 inches, is what the bid was. To mill the top 2 inches and then put new over the top. They got out there and started to drive across it, and it just started crumbling and falling apart. So milling it was not going to work. They removed the asphalt off the top, and there's not a quality base underneath it. So now it is, we went back to CDI, who's the engineer who designed the work in the first place, and they are working with Effingham Asphalt to come up with a solution. Effingham Asphalt believes that we need to have 7 inches of base, 3 inches of asphalt. CDI is looking at what do you need for playground, 90% playground, 10% parking lot, because it only gets parked on for big events, things like that. So we're working through that right now. There could be an increase in cost if we went with the full 7 inches and 3 of about $51,000 to do both of those sections behind Central. So we're trying to nail that down now. That's something that's out there. Likewise, when we got over to East Side and started excavating for that parking lot there, we ran into a swamp. Effingham Asphalt buried the backhoe twice and a bulldozer once because nobody expected it to hold that kind of water. Now, that was within 6-7 days of having 5 inches in an hour and a half or whatever it was. So right now, we're trying to dry it out. We're trying to heavy roll it, and then maybe look at whether a stabilizer will put us where we need to be, or if we're going to have to dig a little deeper and bring clay in on top of that, and what we would have to do with that. So that's kind of where we're at with that. We don't have an answer on what's going to work there yet, but we're working on that. East Side classroom doors, you remember that was a big project last year, but we couldn't replace the doors, ran out of time. So those doors are there. When ELC gets finished, the guys are just going to move over and throw those new doors in. That shouldn't take very long at all. So, did I miss anything?
Padding.
Oh, I did miss something.
Junior.
So padding is going to be done in July. We had Jeff Schaefer's tournament in there in June, so we did not want to schedule the gym at the junior high to be repadded until July. So that is coming, I think, the second week of July. And then I didn't even talk about the turf. The turf is actually on schedule. If you go by there now, they poured a lot of the concrete curve all the way around the inside of the track. And then they will start bringing in the rock to lay across the bottom to really start that process. So the nail board will go in, I think, tomorrow, and we're moving. So we had 4 rain days so far, but we built in several rain days because we are Central Illinois. But right now the turf is on track. So the I-beams for the scoreboard should be going in right away, and then the scoreboard, it said, is July 13th. It should be installed. So as part of that project, when we got out there and got to looking at it, we were concerned. I would say we, because our guys were concerned about the power draw that the scoreboard is going to have. So we got airmen out there, we got electricians out there, and eventually everybody got concerned about it. So we actually are putting in a new transformer behind the scoreboard. The last thing I wanted to have happen is that the first home game, the scoreboard shuts down in the middle of the game because we didn't have enough power. So we'll have enough power out there from now on. So it's been a good project, and it's been running fairly smooth. So
I think from what Mr. Johnson will need from the board is there's some obviously up to 51,000 for Central. We really don't know about East Side, but we're not going to be able to wait until the July board meeting to get approval. So I guess one of the things that I would ask from the board is to give Mr. Johnson the approval to make some decisions, obviously keeping the board in, communicate with the board. Here's what it is. Here's what we need to do. And so we can move that along. Otherwise, we're going to sit and wait, and then we'll be behind the 8 ball. So we know right now we think the worst case scenario is 51,000 for the Central, hopefully lower. We don't really have an idea. East Side wouldn't. I don't have anything. So we'll just have to kind of play that one by ear. But I would hope if you could let Mr. Johnson be able to make that decision so we can move forward and get these done before school starts.
Okay, any thoughts on that or comments?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Good with that?
Yeah.
Okay, then I would need a motion and a second to approve the superintendent to finalize Central and East Side asphalt projects if needed.
Motion.
Motion by Chad,
Second.
second by Steve, roll call.
Chad,
Yes.
Jessica,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Robin.
Yes.
Brad,
Yes.
Jill,
Yes.
Jane, yes.
motion carries. Next, we have the Consolidated District Plan.
Thanks, Jason.
Mrs. Beck's with us tonight.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Each year, we have to submit a plan to the state board, updated annually, to show how we're spending our federally funded dollars. So, those dollars include Title I, Title II, Title I school improvement, IDEA Part B flow through, IDEA Part B preschool, ESSER 2, and ESSER 3. I believe it's ARP. I'm not sure what ARP stands for though.
American Rescue Plan.
There we go. So those are all of the federal dollars that come to our school district. And in essence, the plan involves the rollout of all the services that we provide to students. So that involves the courses, the activities, the programming, that are aligned to standards, focusing not just on the academic part, but also on the social and emotional part. We've had to do a little bit more of that over the last few years, learning more about the social and emotional aspects. And not just relying on teaching staff, but then also bringing in paraprofessionals, volunteers, sometimes peer tutoring to support additional skill practice and concept understanding. In some cases, we also use computer assisted programs, not typically to deliver the first line of instruction, of course, but to help with practice. And so when those things don't, work for an individual student, then we get more down into a database problem solving process, which is what a lot of districts use. And so the problem solving process might focus on the academics, might focus on the social emotional, or might focus on a combination of both. And so what would happen is the team will meet and kind of come up with a plan for that student, what kind of interventions would that student need, and then roll out those interventions, collect data to see how those interventions are going. Much like a doctor might monitor your progress on a certain, prescription medication or something like that. And if it's going better, then maybe we wean off of the prescription medication. In the medical scenario, we would wean off of an intervention in the educational scenario, or doesn't look like it's being impacted at all. We may have to, switch gears. In the medical field, you might switch prescription medication and see if a different one works better. So that's the general process that we follow. We do this with students with disabilities. We do this with students who don't have an IEP or a designated disability. We also do this with English language learners, those students who are trying to acquire English. And so we follow that process. In order to do this, though, there's staff training that sometimes has to occur. And so that's why we have those early release days, the SIP days, the teacher institutes. We try to maximize those as much as possible. We've kind of got a structure now in place for the upcoming year to get more into a cyclical data analysis cycle that will hopefully help us better pinpoint the delivery of all of our services district-wide. And so that kind of brings me to those specific federally funded dollars. East Side is our only school that is funded with the IDEA preschool dollars. Title II dollars are typically used to reduce class size in kindergarten through 5th grade. Our Title I dollars typically are used to deliver services to all students kindergarten through 5th grade. You probably heard the term like title teacher. A lot of our title teachers' salaries are paid out of that particular grant. We have a Title I school improvement grant. That one is used for the junior high as dictated by the State Board of Education. And we have 5 of our buildings that receive the IDEA Part B flow through. Because the preschool would be the 6th one, and that one gets a separate IDEA funding mechanism. And then all of our buildings have gotten funding through the ESSER funds, ESSER 2 and ESSER 3. So the anticipated federal funding for the upcoming school year, we're anticipating for Title I is $503,000. For Title II is $95,000. For IDEA Part B flow through, $791,670. And then the IDEA preschool would be $62,556. The school improvement grant for students with disabilities is anticipated at $20,000. The ESSER 2 and ESSER 3 dollars are 2 is anticipated at $1,981,129, and then ESSER 3 is anticipated at $527,576. So they don't cover all of the services. Obviously, we have to use local dollars and state dollars as well to try to cover all of those services. And then, as a side, when we have school improvement plans, so the consolidated plan has to be approved annually by our local board, but then our school improvement plans have to be approved, especially if they're under the auspice of the school improvement grant through the state board. And so our junior high is the one that has a school improvement plan focused on students with disabilities and focusing on reading and math. And they've been working on that for a couple of years now. They work with the Illinois MTSS and they go through coaching cycles. They've done a lot of professional development with the staff there.
As a clarification, just for the board, IDEA Part B, all those funds are used to offset costs through EASY, the special ed co-op. So that $791,000 is roughly 60% of our costs. So that's where that gets earmarked. The flow through for preschool, we do, because we're part of the co-op, they do a lot of child find services, screenings. So about half, a little over half of that amount is used for EASY screenings. And then the district can utilize the other half as they see fit. So it helped pay for I think chairs at East Side and some of that transition where we moved to the new building. There was about, 30,000, and then there was overflow money from the year before that wasn't spent. So it's really, some of these are very specific on what you can spend the funds on.
Okay, are there any questions for Mrs. Beck or comments? Seeing none, I will entertain a motion and a second to approve the consolidated district and school improvement plans as presented.
Motion.
Motion by Steve.
Yeah.
For a second.
Second.
Second by Desha. Roll call. Desha.
Yes.
Steve.
Yes.
Robin. Yes. Brad.
Yes.
Jill.
Yes.
Jane. Yes. Chad.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have the board policy update and changes. Last month, we posted policies for review and public comments. I would entertain a motion and a second to adopt the following board policies as presented: 2.230, 3.70, 4.10, 4.70, 4.180, 5.40, 5.70, 5.80, 5.110, 5.140, 5.240, 6.70, 6.80, 6.140, 6.290, 6.330, 7.15, and 7.270.
I'll make that.
Motion by Brad. I'll make a second. Roll call.
Steve,
Yes.
Robin,
Yes.
Brad,
Yes.
Jill,
Yes.
Jane, yes, Chad,
Yes.
Tricia.
Yes.
Motion carries. I will now entertain a motion and a second to enter into closed session for the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the district or legal counsel for the district and student disciplinary cases.
Motion.
Motion by Jill,
Second.
second by Steve. Roll call.
Robin,
Yes.
Brad,
Yes.
Jill,
Yes.
Jane, yes, Chad,
Yes.
Tricia,
Yes.
Steve.
Yes.
Motion carries.